Before we dive into this episode, I just want to let you know if you want to get access to episodes before anybody else, head on over to patreon.com/concerts that made us. And as a bonus, you'll get access to videos of some of the episodes and a host of other benefits. We've also teamed up with Band Builder Academy to offer you 10% off their membership. Details of both can be found in the show notes below.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, Concerts That Made Us. Interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and the cheering crowd sound. It's concerts, concerts that made us, concertsthatmadeus.com.
Hey there, we are Drumfish, and you are listening to Concerts That Made Us.
Guys, you're very welcome to the show. How are you?
Great, thanks. And yourself?
Thanks for having us.
I'm pretty good. It's great to have you guys now. I love the album. I'm looking forward to getting some insights into it. So you released it. It's your debut album, Eating Dirt. It was out on June 2nd. What can you tell us about it?
Oh, well, this one we pretty much, the way we compiled it for the album, we more like a set list, almost like we would play live.
More of a performance album.
Yeah, more of a performance album, you could say. So we start off with a bang and then end.
Which a way you wouldn't expect us to end.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it from, I guess, Drumfish after all the live shows that we end out on the quiet song, a key acoustic song. Yeah.
You know, debut albums, they're, you know, it's a big statement for a band. It's something you put out there to tell the audience what you're all about. What do you want people to get from the album?
I think a lot of the stuff that you hear today, a lot of the popular stuff isn't as heavy as it used to be. And I think a lot of things sound the same. So it's nice to hear people, like actual people playing instruments and bands in general. So I think for us, it's just to be like as heavy and loud, and
we don't want the album to sound too overproduced. So we want it to sound like a live show almost, but just a bit neater. If that makes any sense.
It still sound like a song.
Yeah.
And how did you go about achieving that kind of live sound in the studio?
Crap loads of fuzz, for one, I guess. I think every song has a different type of fuzz on it almost. Fuzz layered on fuzz.
I think we started a lot of the songs out like how we would start it out in a set. We didn't, I don't think the producer, sound engineer put much effects on anything. It was more or less straight from the pedal or from the amp or from the drums. And
it must feel like a long road to get to this point, releasing the album. How does it feel to finally have it out there and let people hear it?
It feels good. We've been listening to the album like over and over since we finished it before it came out. So we're
sick of it.
we're kind of over it now. I'm just glad it's out and done with. But it's pretty exciting for us. Big step for the band.
Yeah. And, you know, you guys have been together 3 years now in September. How did Drumfish come to be?
We kind of treat it like a marriage, a good marriage between three men, well, almost men.
Right.
Where if we have a problem on the day, we'll resolve it before we go to bed, and we'll see each other at the next practice.
We don't like tension in the band. It's like bad vibes for everyone. It doesn't end up being good. But that wasn't the question. The question was, how did the band start?
How did the band start? Well, it's cool because we all were like friends
from high school.
From high school. So with me and Charles, I met Charles first, and then he's kind of older than me, so he left school. Then I met Sydney, and we started like hanging out, started playing, started jamming, and then yeah, and I mean, we started a music club that was kind of crappy, but anyways,
I think it was post-lockdown, just like right after lockdown,
where we started the band.
Yeah,
I guess a lot of bands started because you're forced into like doing it,
boredom with nothing to do.
Yeah, and we needed a bassist, and we needed a singer, and everyone sort of just
somehow I ended up as a singer.
Back then, compared to now that COVID, the lockdowns are over, how does it compare? You know, is it what you expected?
I think expectations are pretty much over the moon now. We've come a lot further than we expected it. I was, I guess, just a little hobby in the beginning.
Yeah.
We didn't expect it to go very far. And now we're almost 3 years down the line with an album out and several singles.
And when it comes to making new music, then, you know, what's the process? Who's the songwriter? Is it a collaborative effort?
I used to write songs on my own and then bring them to the band, but then it would like just change completely. So I stopped doing that and just we've like begun writing a lot of it as a complete band.
I see. And at this stage, so we'll dive into your history when it comes to music to give the listeners a sense of where you come from. So if you can you remember your earliest musical memories?
Yeah, definitely. family holidays and listening to like old R&B's hits and old country hits and old pop like ABBA and anything from the 70s to the 90s was probably so AC/DC, ABBA, Beatles.
I think for me,
Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
for me, it would have been I was much younger, and I got one of those MP3s, and I just loaded a crap load of music that I would get from everyone, and that's when it really started. Like music became everything for me, and now I feel like if you're not listening to music all the time, what the hell are you doing with your life?
True. And did you guys grow up in a musical household? You know, was there lots of support for music at home?
Not really. Not really. I think the sport's there, I suppose, but no one really else in my family is musical.
My dad hates that.
Your dad hates the band, but he used to play guitar.
Yeah. I think he knows he doesn't want you to end up jobless.
He doesn't want you to be better than him.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
No, it's not at mine.
And I'm always saying when you get into your teenage years, it's kind of like when you really start taking music in, you know, and you find like-minded people, and it almost creates a community around music. So as teenagers, what sort of music were you being exposed to, and how do you think it molded you into the musicians you are today?
For me, it was really weird. Back to that whole MP3 thing. I can't remember where I got it, but I had System of a Down on there, and I had other heavy stuff, and then all of a sudden there'd be like a couple of songs from early Nicki Minaj,
Right.
which was super weird now that I think back to it. And I don't listen to it anymore, but
Back then it was cool.
back then I enjoyed it.
I think me was like, for some reason I was like into like electronic house music, like that was my thing. And then getting an instrument for the first time, then you get introduced to grunge, and then everything changes.
There was the whole awkward dubstep era.
Right. So what's the local scene like? You know, when you're trying to get a band off the ground, is it very difficult over in South Africa?
I think for us it was quite easy, actually, thinking back. There's this the venue called Rumors Lounge, and at the time they were bringing in all these not up and coming, but like bands,
small time, big time
bands that were just starting out, and they'd give them a chance at the stage and just experiencing that. So I think we were very, very grateful and very lucky for that.
Yeah. And you know, there's lots of big bands, big rock bands in South Africa. Do you find that they're kind of eager to lend a hand to the up and coming bands and say like, yeah, come on, jump on the tour with us or jump on a gig supporting us?
Yeah, we've been lucky to open for larger bands before. We've opened for Fuck Off Politica and then the Narrow.
And Rough Magic.
And Rough Magic, that was a great one, yeah.
I love Rough Magic. They're good friends of the show, actually. I'm after chatting with them a couple of times. They're a great bunch of guys.
Very, very nice and
super down to earth, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And as a concert goer then, I have to ask, what concerts have made you guys?
Well, the only one I've been to was Guns N' Roses. But and Vanderboom from South Africa opened for them. So I'm not the biggest Guns N' Roses fan, but I mean, if you're going to see a band like them in a stadium, that's more than enough to like make you want to play in a band. After seeing Welcome to the Jungle or Paradise City.
It's funny you mentioned that one because I had Martin from Vanderboom on, and he spoke a lot about that gig, what it was like playing that gig and supporting Guns N' Roses. So it's funny you mention it there.
The funny thing about that was I didn't even realize it was Vanderboom until I knew Vanderboom was like a couple of years back.
entering the scene, you hear about all these bands that you previously didn't know about, and you're like, wow, fuck, there's some good stuff out there.
And what about the rest of you guys? What concerts made you?
Actually, I've never been to a concert before.
Really?
No.
You've been to Drumfish shows? Not as great. Personally, I got to see the Pixies when they came here.
Oh man,
that was great. We did that instead of going to the Matric after party things. And then I saw Iron Maiden. That was very fun, very theatrical.
I've seen I don't know. My first concert was actually embarrassing. My first concert was George Benson. That's definitely where my heavy interest spawned from.
Of course.
Right. And I'm looking forward to this now. For any listeners that haven't caught one of your shows, what can they expect? Try give them the full experience if you can.
So there's Drumfish on the stage. That's it. No, it's a Drumfish show. Is super loud. There's lots of fuzz, high energy,
big crashes, big
shitloads of drums, screamy vocals. Not screamy vocals, but more shouting. We like that. But it's super loud and super energetic. We're up in your face.
Fasts, halftime beats, headbanging stuff. Charles has a thing where he will sometimes, more often these days, take on the mic itself and go into the crowd.
Drop the guitar,
start singing with the crowd. And because I guess if you can't, if your songs aren't good enough, then you got to grab a guy by the shirt and be like, get up and do something.
You're saying our songs aren't good.
Maybe.
And how do you guys work on your stage show? How do you perfect it and make sure it's better than the last?
We're always
Jägermeister.
No Jägermeister before the show. We're always learning from the previous shows. We'll still be like, oh wow, that was a really good show, or crap, let's not do that again.
Yeah, don't do that. But definitely from the practice space, because then no one's watching us and we can just do whatever we want. And
yeah, we definitely have the whole dance nobody's watching vibe on stage.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. All right, it's also better than picturing the audience naked.
It's true.
But it never works.
It doesn't work.
Especially if your mom's in the crowd.
What?
Is there a gig that you've played that so far is the best experience you've had?
No. I think
opening for the Narrow, I think, is definitely top
your
3.
favorite.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite. That was a crazy show by far. I was in the crowd. I ended up on some guy's shoulders.
Oh yes, that was quite sick.
I had the mic and I was just shouting.
He's half your size, actually.
Yeah. That was a terrific show.
That was great. I think all the ones we open for big bands, those are great because there's definitely a lot of crowd to play for. And we do well with big crowds. We don't really do well. We feel like, I don't know, demeanor changes when it's just family and friends.
Yeah. That's a good one now. How do you, at the shows where there may not be a lot of people, a smaller show, how do you get the energy up in the audience?
We would still play there's 500 people in the show. If there were just 20 people there, we would still put that same amount of effort in.
Because
there's no point. You've gone all that way. You've lugged all that gear,
and we enjoy playing.
We just want to play. Really,
we enjoy playing with each other, not in a weird way. As a band of 3 men.
Right. To switch it around, is there a gig experience that you would say was maybe the worst experience you've had, and how did you deal with it?
Yes, definitely. There is one that comes to mind at the Texas bar. That was definitely
shitty gig.
Of the top 2 worst shows. That's definitely number 1. We were drinks were flowing, weed was being smoked. And then we got up on stage, and then leading up to that, I was like losing my voice.
Luckily, and the drummer was playing like a different song.
Oh yeah, Joaquin was playing a different song. He had the smoke machine was right behind him, so none of us could see him. Sydney was just vibing.
You were great.
He was just doing his own thing in the corner.
I probably thought that you were playing wrong because I was playing wrong.
It's just one of those shows where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Right. And how did you guys overcome it?
We definitely drink a lot less before the show.
we're not like Pantera.
We
get drunk.
We practiced a lot more, so like if I can't see Joaquin, I can still tell where he's going to be, in a sense.
And how do you guys approach getting your music out to new listeners? What do you find is the best way that works?
I feel like someone told me that it's good to not sell your music. So you sell like merch and you sell, not sell, but you promote like videos of the songs, and we like doing meme stuff.
Don't listen to the music. Watch the performance and then listen to the music.
Right. That's a good one. I haven't heard before, actually.
It's easier because I feel like people have like short attention spans, and that's why like Instagram posts, TikTok stuff, it's quick, and if they see it and they like it, then cool. But if you're promoting, hey, I've got an album out, and you're just saying, oh, I've got an album out, then no one's really gonna pay attention. Unless you've got great footage, you've got great promo, and yeah. But I also feel like it's still good to like go out to your neighborhood and tell, like, I don't know, give out flyers or just go to random stores and say, hey, I've got an album out, and give them physical things to show that you've got an album out, like CD and old school ways.
Yeah, exactly. You can't beat the old school ways. And, as a band at your level, how do you approach finding gigs and hopefully in the future setting up tours?
That's usually left up to Joaquin. Every so often I'll attempt booking a gig and sometimes come right, but usually he's the guy. He's emailing and WhatsApping.
Our first gig that we got at Rumors Lounge, I spammed the guy like a gazillion times. Hey, can we pay this thing? Can we pay it? Can we pay it? And he finally gives us a show, but we're not even a band yet. He's like, hey, you guys want to play in 3 weeks' time? And we haven't even practiced once yet. And I said yes, because I'm just an idiot.
But you still do that.
Yeah. Sydney only joined a band a week after that.
We had to write like 6 songs and then learn some covers just to fill the time.
Recruitment.
We were a 5-piece in the beginning somehow.
And what kind of antics do you guys get up to backstage at gigs then?
Lots of nitrous.
Right.
That's not true.
No. Well, can I tell them?
What?
Well, it's only us chatting. You might as well.
Actually, I think we're not like a hook up with chicks and do drugs kind of band. We kind
of just mill around and pace back and forth before the show. We just want to play, just waiting.
Drinking's fun though.
Drinking's great.
And watching bands and like bands, especially that it's great. Obviously,
we're big instigators in the crowd.
Yeah, always want to do mosh stuff.
Building up to our show.
Even though I'm not the biggest person.
Joaquin gets thrown around in the mosh. He's got scars to prove it.
And is there any bands or musicians in particular that you model yourselves after, that you look at and say, yeah, I want to be like them?
I think we each have our own.
Go for it, Charles.
Role models, sort of. I really look up to Ty Segall and just like the stuff he does with his album releases. He's got like acoustic, and then like everything before that was just full on garage rock, loud.
Sid, what you got?
See, I don't really have any inspirations there. I'm big into like Avenged Sevenfold, and I like my power metal.
Power metal, 80s stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's very synthy, techno. That type of
Sid gives us the breakdowns in the band. Like it's you. I feel like for a bassist, I know this is off topic, but if you want to be a good bassist, you have to be a good guitarist. And he is that, and that's why he's the perfect bassist. But for me, it would be Foo Fighters, because I'm just a Foo Fighters nerd, and Foo Fighters. Yeah, I like that. I like that they still like making stuff that isn't very like, I don't know, mainstream in a sense. Yes, it is in a sense, but like they still write great stuff, and they're still doing a lot of work compared to a lot of the bands that are still around. But also just anything punk in general, punk stuff. Like, and Idols is bringing punk back in the UK, so stuff like them and Turnstile, and there's a lot.
Yeah. And I have to ask, since you mentioned the Foo Fighters, what do you think of the latest album?
Well, I think since they released it on the same day as Drumfish's album, they definitely got some competition, you know?
Definitely. Do you say they were copying you guys?
100%.
It's a very sad album, I must say, but very good.
I actually think it's one of their best albums since maybe, I don't know, One by
Wasting
One.
Life.
Yeah. It's definitely the best thing they've put out in years anyway.
I agree. I have a question as well. What do you think of the new drummer?
I think he definitely has the chops, but it'll be interesting to see how he does when they go on tour, you know? And maybe a year down the line, look back and see what he's like then. You know, he has big shoes to fill, and from his point of view, it's going to be a tough job because he's never going to live up to Taylor in the fans' eyes, you know?
Yeah, I feel like any drummer that you put there, they should have just cloned Dave and made him play.
Yeah. I thought for sure that they'd give the job to Taylor's son.
I was thinking the same. My bed was on probably not Nandy Bushell, but that would have been funny if it was. Yeah. But maybe Rufus Taylor from The Darkness.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, although I think they're touring a lot at the moment themselves, so they probably wouldn't have worked out.
And he looks like a bigger version of Taylor, like he ate Taylor, so you don't want to have that with you as well.
Yeah, exactly. And back to your guys' shows then, you know, the few minutes before you get on stage, what's going through your mind?
Did you Keen bring his hi-hat this time?
Leave my power supply.
Didn't he leave his power supply?
You usually like more prepared than all of us.
Yeah, I don't like getting on stage and then having to search for something. I'm usually there, like just getting my shit together and just like preparing myself mentally for the show.
I think before it was like, I think now we're a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, but we still have to go run off and find your Keen because the show is about to start and we haven't found him yet.
And you know, after the show, you're filled with all that energy. How do you wind down?
Push to the next band.
We don't.
I feel like we wind up.
We keep winding up. I think from there, we wait for the next band to go down. We, like I said, we instigate in the mosh pit.
Yeah, after party in a sense.
After party on the floor. Yeah.
Because you want the bands to do that for you as well. Next time.
Yeah, we don't really want to lose that high we have from being off the stage.
Yeah, true. And say, hypothetically, you play like the best gig of your lives. Saturday night, the place is packed. You guys are on fire. You wake up the next morning and it's kind of back to reality. How do you deal with that feeling?
Book the next gig.
Look for the,
Look for the next one.
look for the next big hit.
I don't think
usually the day after the show is just like a rest day, almost.
Mm-hmm. Try to get rid of the hangover.
Yeah.
It's like three little kids after sugar rush. And I don't want to get up anymore.
And as a band, then, how do you guys measure success? What does success mean to you?
I don't. I feel like we'll get there, but I feel like maybe we have accomplishments so far that we've succeeded in.
I feel like a big one is releasing the album. That's definitely a big accomplishment, a big feeling of success for us.
And I think we're proud of like the sound, and
we've definitely figured out our sound now at this point in the band, and we know where we're going. This album, a lot of it is just stuff from when we first started, and now we're branching out from here. So this is pretty much a stepping stone.
Yeah, I think we know like now what kind of stuff we want to make, and I think we sort of figuring out how to write together easier than before.
We've already begun writing for the next EP.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up later. How are you guys going to follow up this album? Tell us about what you're writing at the moment, if you can.
The next EP is going to be recording it, the leftovers. So it's also it's a lot of stuff that when we first formed, but we're reinventing it and revitalizing it because we found that it's a bit stale. So we're trying to bring the songs back to life by writing them in a way where we are now as a band with our current sound.
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot of bands when they're starting off, they maybe have like a roadmap of things they want to tick off to get to where they are. So say 5 years' time, where do you guys want to be as a band?
So we're going to see that.
Definitely touring.
Having at least a tour under our belts.
Touring, music video. I think possibly a second album.
5 years.
5 years. Possibly a third album. And maybe 5 years is a good time for us to all get hitched.
Yeah.
To each other now or to other people?
I guess if we find
just the three of us.
Yeah.
Love triangle.
And how do you guys, at this stage in your career, how do you guys make, labels and PR companies take notice of you guys?
That's Charles's department.
Oh, that's a tough one because we do a lot of it ourselves, the promoting, and it's tough, but we usually get by. So if there are any PR labels, PR companies or labels out there, please hit me up. We like do all like the promo videos and all that
flyers for the
flyers and the write-ups for the posts, just trying to like market it the best way possible we can. But it's hard.
That's for sure. It's especially when you're at the stage where you have to focus on the music, the shows, and then the promotion. It's kind of you're splitting yourself all over the place and spreading yourself thin.
But I think we it's nice because like everyone has stuff that they want to do and that they're good at, and we kind of like our own little family company or something.
Yeah, our own little PR company label thing.
Could always go ahead and start your own one. Be the best
There
way
you
to
go.
promote your own music.
What do we call it? The Drumfish Records.
Drumfish Records. I'm sure there's another name to come up with.
And before we dive into the last couple of questions, so what are your future plans? We've heard that you're writing new music. Is there any big gigs coming up or anything that you'd like to promote?
At the moment, we've got a gig next week, Saturday on the 24th. We're playing at Rumours Lounge, so going back to our roots in a sense, for a modelling agency. They're organising the event. It's for charity.
It's a Pride show.
It's a Pride charity
with
charity event.
I think the big artist there would be an artist called Angie Yu, who's doing pretty well in SA. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And we haven't played Rumours in a while, so
it'll be good to get back. Yeah.
We'll dive into the last couple. So, if you could see any performer from history in concert for one night only, who would it be?
For me, right now, it would be Idols. I'd be super keen to see them.
Good one. Good one.
What you said?
I'd love to see the Beatles.
The Beatles version. Yeah, sick. I think the Fuzz. I like the Fuzz. But with Taylor there, because it just doesn't hit the same, you know?
Yeah. I saw them back in, I think it was 2019 now, and oh man, they put on one hell of a show.
What was it like a festival thing?
It was just their headlining concert. I can't even remember. They were so good that I can't even remember who the support acts were.
Damn.
Yeah. It was in a big stadium in Ireland, and oh man, they just blew the whole crowd away. And the next one, so it's a bit odd. If you had to spend 24 hours locked inside a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
I think maybe Kurt Cobain. That would be interesting.
Right. Why so?
I feel like he's a nice guy, but like and obviously he's got his like, you know, dark side to him, but also like just he's very smart, and he can tell me his songwriting secrets.
That'd be pretty cool. And rest of you guys?
Sydney?
I don't even know.
I wouldn't mind being locked in with Jack White. I really enjoy his guitar playing and his techniques, and just his guitar tone is terrific.
Yeah, actually, that would be a really good one, because he's like a genius when it comes to the production side of things as well. You could learn so much about it.
And you, Sydney?
Who's your favorite bassist?
See, I'd say Flea.
Flea.
The only bassist you know.
I don't think talk about it.
But it would be it would be a weird.
That would be scary.
Yeah, because you don't know what to expect from him. He's going to take his pants off. Kind of scared.
Are you going to take your pants off?
Yeah, that 24 hours could take a totally different turn.
You'd be a different person coming out.
Being Vince slap face.
And the final one. So, what song would appear on the soundtrack to your life?
Ooh. You go first, please.
Yes, Sid, go first.
Oh,
That's interesting. Find a song. Find some songs, yeah. I'd say. Okay, I got it. Idols, Mr. Motivator.
Nice.
Right.
Always gets me up in the morning.
Mine would be Monkey Junction by Weed Eater.
Right. What is it about that song that speaks to you?
Just the slow, doomy, fuzzed out bass. just the way they play. And, his vocals are great.
So
I could live my life to that song.
Sid, what you got?
I choose a song called Resonance by it's how I always feel.
Perfect one. So listen, guys, thanks a million for jumping on. I've really enjoyed chatting with you now.
Likewise.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
the prize. Go tell your mother I'm home. I've been out.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're interested in signing up to Band Builder Academy, use the link in the show notes below and enter the code CONCERTS and you'll receive 10% off. So, until next time, keep rocking. Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show's over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here.